All right, let's talk about something real. Today, we're going to dive into the most common financial traps of the middle class. So let's get right into it. Does this question hit a little close to home? You get that raise, you land the better job. Your income is technically the highest it's ever been. And yet, that bank account is looking pretty empty by the end of the month. It's this super frustrating paradox, right? And trust me, you are not the only one feeling this way. Yeah, this is what we're calling the middle class paradox. So let's really dig into the invisible force that's keeping so many people financially stuck, even when they're making good money. Okay, so the main culprit here, it's got a name, lifestyle creep. And man, is it sneaky. A raise lands in your account, and almost without you noticing, so do your expenses. A slightly nicer apartment, eating out a few more times a week, splurging on the organic groceries. Each little upgrade feels totally justified, but your lifestyle just expands to swallow every single new dollar you make. And that is the trap, right there in a nutshell. You're not actually getting ahead. You're just getting comfortable being broke, but at a higher salary. It's like you're on this financial treadmill, running your heart out, putting in more work just to stay in the exact same spot. Okay, so how does this actually play out in real life? Let's break down the specific traps that keep us all running in place. We're going to start with what I call the upgrading treadmills. Those traps driven by that constant itch for something newer, something better. A classic example, the car payment treadmill. The dealership dangles the shiny new car in front of you and promises a lower monthly payment. Sounds awesome, right? But here's the reality. They've just stretched your loan term from 5 years to 7 and rolled all the debt from your old car right into the new one. So you end up owing more for way longer. And that's the whole cycle, isn't it? You get caught in this endless loop of debt, and you never actually own the asset. You're just restarting the debt clock every few years, chasing a smaller monthly bill instead of true ownership. All right, the next treadmill is all about social pressure. Keeping up with the Joneses, right? We see our coworkers' fancy new watch or our friends' amazing vacation photos pop up on Instagram, and all of a sudden our own life feels a little lacking. So we spend money we don't really have, usually on a credit card, to finance an image for an audience that, let's be honest, is probably too busy worrying about their own image to even notice ours. And here's the brutal truth, the big trade-off. Every single dollar you spend trying to look successful is a dollar you can't actually use to become successful. You're literally swapping your future wealth for a temporary high of looking good. Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about a whole other category of traps. This one's all about the hidden cost of easy. When convenience ends up costing you an absolute fortune. Oh, the minimum payment on a credit card, it's such a perfect illusion of control, isn't it? That small $60 payment on a $3,000 balance feels so manageable, but it's a total trap. The vast majority of that money, it's just feeding the interest. Your actual balance barely moves, and that debt can haunt you for over a decade, making you pay back almost double what you originally owed. And look, this isn't just about big debts. What about all those small, everyday conveniences? Food delivery, all the streaming subscriptions, that one-click express shipping. They seem so tiny in the moment. A little here, a little there, and before you know it, bam! They can easily drain $4,000 or more from your bank account every single year. Just gone. And that's the real kicker. When convenience is your go-to move, you're not just buying a little bit of comfort. You're basically renting it forever. And that cost just keeps compounding on itself, day after day. So what do we do when the money gets tight? A side hustle, right? Feels like the responsible thing to do. But here's the catch, the real trap. If all that extra money is just bankrolling your overspending, you haven't solved anything. You're just working 60 hours a week to treat the symptom, which is not enough cash, instead of the actual disease, your spending habits. All right, for this last section, let's talk about the big ones. The huge life decisions that can literally become financial prisons for decades if you're not careful. This is so important, especially when you're buying a house. The bank sends you that pre-approval letter for a huge loan, and it feels like you won the lottery, right? But you have to remember, their goal is to lend you as much money as possible. They calculate the absolute max you could possibly pay back, not what you should pay back if you actually want to have, a life. And when you stretch yourself that thin, you end up house poor. Yeah, you got the house, but now the house owns you. Every spare dollar gets sucked into the mortgage, taxes, and upkeep, leaving nothing for savings or fun or emergencies. It might be a beautiful prison, but it's still a prison. And here's another huge one: putting off retirement savings. We all know the script, right? I'll start next year, or I'll start when things settle down. We're always waiting for that perfect time to get started. But the math on waiting, it is absolutely brutal. Seriously. Thanks to the magic of compound interest, someone who starts saving just $200 a month at age 25 can end up with more than double the money of someone who starts at age 40. Your most valuable asset here is time, and every year you wait is growth you can never, ever get back. Okay, so after hearing about all these traps, you might be feeling a little down. Is there a way out? Absolutely, and it all boils down to one single, powerful principle that changes the entire game. Here it is. This is the whole thing. Financial freedom isn't about how much money you make. It's about the size of the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That space, right there, that is where wealth is built. That's freedom. Now think about it. Go back through every single trap we've discussed. Lifestyle creep, the car payments, keeping up appearances, all the convenience costs. What do they all have in common? They are all designed to close that gap, to shrink it down to zero, so you never, ever actually get ahead. So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about, because honestly, the first step to getting out of a trap is knowing you're in one. So take a hard look. Which of these traps have you accidentally set for yourself?